Okay, imagine this. You're out on a walk in the Cederberg. The air's got that crisp fynbos smell. You can pick up the scent of buchu on the wind. You're pointing out all the big stuff, right? The incredible rock formations, maybe an eagle soaring overhead. But what if the most amazing story out there was right at your feet, hiding in plain sight in a plant so small you could just walk right by it? Well, let's get into it, because back in 2009, that is exactly what happened. In the Cederberg Mountains, a place that's been explored for ages, botanists found a plant that was completely new to science. It's a story that just perfectly shows how the wild always has more secrets to share. And for you as a guide, knowing stories like this, it can totally change how your guests see the world around them, and that's what we're going to unpack right now.
So meet Annesorhiza asparagoides. Yeah, try saying that 3 times fast. It's what's called a perennial herb, which just means it lives for a few years, and it's in the same family as carrots and celery. But here's the really mind-blowing part. It was first collected in 2009 and only officially described in 2011. I mean, that's basically yesterday. It just goes to show you, even in places we think we know inside and out, huge discoveries are still happening.
So why are we talking so much about this one little plant? Because its story is the perfect tool for you as a guide to completely shift how your guests look at the landscape. We're going to break it down into 3 key takeaways that make this plant's story so powerful and, honestly, unforgettable.
First things first, the way it looks. This isn't just another little fynbos bush that blends in with everything else. It has an appearance that, once you know what you're looking for, is just totally unique. And it's all about the leaves.
You can really see the difference here. You know how most fynbos plants have those tough, needle-like leaves to save water in the heat? Well, Annesorhiza asparagoides takes that idea to a whole other level. Its leaves are made of these super dense, crowded, needle-like bits that form what scientists call a bottlebrush. In fact, its species name, asparagoides, literally means asparagus-like because its look is so distinctive. It's a fantastic real-world example of just how specialized plants can get. Okay, on to our second big takeaway. This plant has a seriously clever survival strategy, one that plays out across the seasons. You could almost say it lives its life in 2 completely separate acts.
And this is where it gets really smart. During the cooler, wetter winter, those bottlebrush leaves pop out to soak up the sun and store energy in the plant's roots. But then, when the hot, dry summer rolls in, the leaves just die back completely. And only then, when the plant looks like it's totally dormant, do the flowers and the seed heads push up from the bare ground. So get this, the leaves and the flowers never ever meet. It's an amazing story of adapting to a really tough climate.
Now, for the third and, maybe the most powerful takeaway of all, it's just how incredibly rare this plant is. And its rarity teaches us this massive lesson about conservation and about where we find nature's biggest secrets.
10. That's it. That's roughly the number of individual plants that have ever been found. They all live in one single tiny population. This isn't just rare. We're talking about a species that is right on the absolute edge of existence. That one number is all you need to help guests feel just how precious and fragile biodiversity really is.
And here's the kicker. Where was this unbelievably rare plant found? Not in some pristine, hidden, untouched valley. Nope. It was found in a humble, kind of scruffy patch of disturbed ground right next to an erosion gully. So the big lesson here is that biodiversity isn't just in the postcard perfect spots. It's everywhere, even in the messy bits we might not look twice at. That's a powerful message to share on any drive or walk.
Right, so this is a fair question. Why tell your guests a whole story about a plant that, let's be honest, they'll almost certainly never lay eyes on? Well, because this story isn't really just about a plant. It's about a whole new way of seeing.
When you use this story out on a walk, it completely transforms the experience. It gives you a way to get everyone to look a little closer, to wonder about the small things. It proves that science and discovery aren't things that just happened in the past. They are happening right now, today. It reframes the entire landscape, from the biggest mountain down to the smallest little ditch, as a place that's just full of secrets, waiting for a curious eye to uncover them. Now, a story like this is also the perfect way to tackle a couple of common myths that guests often have about nature and discovery. So let's clear those up so you can do the same thing out in the field. So, myth number 1, the idea that famous, well-traveled places like the Cederberg were all figured out and cataloged ages ago. The fact that this plant was only discovered in 2009 completely blows that myth out of the water. You can use this as a real-world, check-this-out example that exploration truly never ends. And a second myth? That you have to be some kind of famous explorer in a remote, untouched jungle to find something new.
The fact is, this plant was found in a simple erosion gully. This story makes discovery feel accessible to everyone. It tells your guests that amazing things can be found anywhere if you just train your eye to look.
Now, when you tell a story this good, you are definitely going to get some questions. So here are a few of the most likely ones, along with some simple, accurate answers you can have ready to go.
So if a guest asks what family it's in, you can tell them, believe it or not, it's related to carrots and parsley. If they ask about the name, you can explain that Asparagoides is just a fancy way of saying asparagus-like, all because of those cool bottlebrush leaves. And this one's crucial. If they ask if you can take them to see it, the answer has to be a firm but gentle no. Its location is a closely guarded secret, and that's to protect that incredibly fragile population of only about 10 known plants.
Okay, so let's just lock in the 3 main things to remember as we wrap up. These are your go-to talking points. First, its totally unique bottlebrush look. Second, its clever 2-act life, where the leaves and flowers live in different seasons. And third, its mind-boggling rarity, only about 10 plants known in one single, humble little spot.
At the end of the day, the story of Annesorhiza asparagoides is about so much more than botany. It's a perfect, real-life parable for the whole safari experience. It's the ultimate reminder for you and for your guests to look closer, to always stay curious, and to know for sure that the wild always has more secrets to share.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. If a plant this unique could hide in plain sight in the Cederberg all the way until 2009, what other incredible secrets are still out there, right under our feet, just waiting for a curious eye to find them?